Hello, welcome to the Nintendo Bros podcast, and this is Pete.
And I'm Derek.
And this week, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the U.S. Nindies this time.
Yes, the U.S. Nindies in celebration of PAX. But we've got a couple other things, I think, to talk about first. Some news updates and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, firstly, did you see the new Nintendo Labo kit?
I saw I don't know if there's a second video. I saw the original video where they showed off all the different vehicle stuff.
Okay, well, yawning. There's a new video that kind of gives a more in-depth look at all the things to do in the world.
Cool.
You didn't see it, eh?
No, I didn't even know it was posted.
It kind of just stealth dropped this video, but it's pretty cool. I mean, it's I'm still on the fence about it, but it's like you're on a giant island that's broken into like 15 quadrants, and each of these quadrants has 8 missions.
I don't think you know what the word quadrant means, but okay.
Well, sections, okay. 15 sections. Well, why? What is quadrant?
Well, the word quads, it's 4, but
Wow.
you can't have 15 fourths.
Well, then there's probably around 3 quadrants for 12 areas, and you have little missions to do. Like one will be, follow this path or chop down this tree or
Nice.
fly through the rings or things like that. So there's a bunch of stuff, and you can like switch on your car. It seems like you have the most features because you can switch between like a blade and your windshield wipers, and you can have a gun. Like there's a lot of, and you can boost. So there's quite a little bit of features.
Are there any goals, like besides just little mini games like cut down a tree? Are there like overarching goals?
Well, I think it's like I said, there's the 8 missions within every single quadrant.
Okay.
And those missions vary. I think it's anything from fly between the rings to win the race to...
So it's kind of like a Pilot Wing-esque kind
Yeah, that's a great reference. It's almost exactly like Pilot Wings, and you're on a single island with like in Wii Sports Resort or in Pilot Wings Resort. So yeah, it looks cool. I mean, still the price is probably a little high for me. I like that you can use the wheel for Mario Kart.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yawning again.
Yeah, you always yawn.
Well, we do these in the morning, so.
At noon?
So I don't know. What do you think about this? Are you gonna buy it?
I'm not going to buy it. I mean, I'm just not that fully interested in Labo myself. I think the people that are interested in Labo would love this. I think it's the best Labo kit to date, in my opinion. But it's just not for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is probably definitely the better Labo kit. It looks like there's more to do in it.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Labo does around Christmas, because we haven't seen it during a holiday yet. So it's sold okay throughout the past 6 months or however long it's been out, but I really want to see whether it actually takes off at this Christmas holiday season.
No, I think they said that Labo altogether has sold just over 1 million.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean that's between the 2 kits worldwide though, so it's not that good.
No, but at least it's like, I think it was a worthwhile investment for them.
Well, let's just put it this way: Mario Tennis did that in about 2 weeks, more than that in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but that's a Mario franchise.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know how it's gonna do. But I don't think we're gonna hear about it. Like I don't think we're gonna see like on the NPD charts or hear about it selling really well. But I think when all is said and done and kind of time goes by, it will have been a modest success for Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine people who are into that kind of thing are really into it.
Yeah, I'm sure, especially people with kids and families, like that's a fun thing to do on the holiday.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, if any of our listeners have gotten into Labo, let us know. I was going to grab the robot kit, but I realized it took something like 3 hours to build, and then the content was light, and I'd be interested to hear some impressions from our readers.
I'm surprised you would rather get that over the variety kit. I think the variety kit kind of looks cool.
Well, once I kind of looked into what they were, I'd much prefer the variety kit now. But even still, like the variety kit, I want the fishing one and I want the motorcycle one, and I don't really care about the other ones. I don't care about the piano.
The piano is the coolest one. You can like make your own synth board. Have you ever seen the software end of the Labo kit? It's like crazy.
Yeah, but I know how long it takes to build that piano, and it doesn't seem worth it. I'd rather just
Yeah, okay.
download software and use my keyboard if I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Um, and the house I don't care about either. So a couple things. Sorry to keep talking about Labo here, but the new one, I think it's called the driving kit or something. It has a lot of secondary features.
Cool.
Like the entirety of the racing game and the variety kit is basically in here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so like on the side of the island exploration, you can do like a battle mode. You can do like a two-player battle. You can do you can paint your car, and there's this really neat feature that you could hold up like a real stencil. So if you made a stencil in paper and held it up in front of the spray can, you'd actually be holding it in front of the IR sensor, and it creates a real live stencil,
That's
in
cool.
the game.
So you can put decals on your car.
Basically, so you can make your own stencil and then stencil it on your car. It's really cool.
That is a really cool feature.
There's a lot of cool features. Yeah, totally. So we'll see. I think that comes out in September.
Nice.
Moving on. So what have we been playing recently? What have you been playing?
I was picking up Hollow Knight again recently just because the new DLC came out. Other than that, not much. I've been looking at some indies, but I just am pretty much waiting. I'm considering Super Mario Party in October or Smash in December, but right now it's not too much on my Switch.
You're considering Smash Bros?
No, I'm sorry. I'm considering Super Mario Party, and I'm getting Smash Bros.
Okay. You're not getting not getting any Switch games in September?
The only one I'm really interested in is The World Ends With You, and I might just wait for that to be a little bit cheaper, just because there's so many other games for other systems coming out. So I might just wait around. But right now, I'm looking at indies in the next few months that are coming out. Like there's definitely a few. I want to get Bastion. I think Transistor would be nice to give a second chance.
Well, that's the point of this entire podcast.
Yeah,
here.
so
We're
we'll talk
gonna
about
jump into
later.
the indies. It's funny. I find myself playing indies more now than non-indies, like real retail games.
You too.
I don't know why. It's just I find them easier to just turn on and start playing. Like it's like easier to pick up and play.
I also think there's just a lull in first-party games right now.
Well, and basically there's a lull in retail games for
That's what
Switch
I mean.
that
Yeah.
interest us.
Yeah, that's
I
what
know
mean.
Monster Hunter just came out. Okami just came out. So there's some games that feel like those kind of Capcom games.
Yeah.
I've been playing Dead Cells. I keep getting a little further, and a little further, and a little further. I beat Splatoon's Octo expansion.
Did you beat every level?
No, I beat the boss.
So you haven't beat the real boss, though?
No.
No.
So I've got some more playing to go, but it's funny. I remember hearing a lot of people complaining about the challenge of the final boss run that I did. I know it's not the final boss.
You haven't done the final boss. People were only complaining about the secret boss that you haven't fought.
Oh, maybe. Well, they've also complained about fighting Agent 3.
Oh, that's not why. Yeah.
It was tough, but I didn't find it that hard.
There's people that were complaining about the secret boss that was like brutally hard and like cheats.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll get there.
Yeah.
I've had a problem though with my Switch, and I'm going to defer our listeners here to give some feedback too. I basically have the a Pro controller, and I have the Joy-Cons that came with my Switch, the gray ones, and there's problems with all of them. With my Joy-Cons, they desync. I have that left Joy-Con desync issue that I think everyone has, so I can't really use my Joy-Cons anywhere but on the Switch attached, and my Pro controller is now showing some kind of problems with the analog stick, like the calibration of it. I've tried a couple things, and it looks like I might just have to buy a new controller. So, how are you with your controllers, Derek?
I surprisingly had the same issue. Well, I mean, everyone, as you said, has this issue of the desync on my original Joy-Cons. I bought another pair when I got ARMS, the yellow ones, and they don't have the desync issue as far as I can tell. But my left Joy-Con, the analog, is also kind of weird. Where if I hold right, it registers as going right, but only as like a weak right, as if I'm not pushing it all the way. So like if I'm running with a character right, it'll like jut and stop because it doesn't read that it's like held right. It kind of like
Oh my
it's
God.
like it's like 40%. So
That's your yellow Joy-Con?
yeah.
Wow.
So and that's even with it attached. So that's like a analog issue, not a connectivity issue.
Have you looked online or tried the recalibration in the?
I've done the recalibration. So if I spin it in a circle, you can see when it gets to the right, it'll like almost make a Pac-Man.
So it's broken.
Yeah, I mean it's fine in most games just because most games don't differentiate, especially indies don't differentiate between a little bit of a right and a hard right.
Yeah.
But games that have like pacing, it's like my character will walk when I'm trying to get them to run.
So I mean, for me, it's infuriating. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I just play my pro controller most of the time. So
Well, it's frustrating for me now that my Pro Controller doesn't really work, and it's tough because I'm playing Dead Cells, and it's like I'd rather run left than right, because whenever I run right, it's like whenever I hold the analog stick to the right, if I'm not at a perfect angle of 90-degree right angle, if I'm even like the littlest bit towards downwards, my character ducks. And this is a new issue. It doesn't happen on the left side when I'm walking to the left, it's only to the right. So it's very frustrating that, sometimes I'm jumping and I'll immediately just do a ground slam. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That can be really bad if you're ground slamming into spikes or toxic sludge or something. So I don't know what to do. And at this point, I'm a little frustrated because I've never had this many issues with controllers in a console.
yeah, me too. Especially with Nintendo. Like I've had a broken DualShock 4 for PS4,
Same.
but Nintendo, I've never had a problem at all with any of their hardware.
Me neither. And I mean, they've only been out a year.
I mean, I guess not true. I've had a few broken Wiimotes, but those were meant to be cheap, you know?
Yeah, I mean they're not 100. Like the Pro Controller is basically $100 in Canada.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money, and after a year, I wouldn't expect it to be so worn down. So I'm kind of at a point now where I don't know what to do. Like, do I send it into Nintendo to try to get it fixed?
You should contact them at least see what they say. Because if you say it's an internal thing, you didn't do anything wrong with it, I mean, maybe they'll.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna look into some things, but I don't know. It's a little bit frustrating, and I've been kind of waiting. Like, I was gonna buy another set of Joy-Cons a while ago, but I've been waiting to kind of hear that these issues are gone, and from what I've heard, they're not.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. It's like I mean, as much as I like having the second pair of Joy-Cons, I'm not going to buy anything else for a long time.
Yeah, and I'm at the point where it's like I can't even play a lot of games, so I'm now not playing my system because I don't have a workable controller, and I just don't know whether to go buy a new one, try to send it in. I'm gonna contact them, but it's like, have the issues really fixed? And what I hear, it's too bad. The Pro Controller is a great controller, and it just seems like they maybe didn't have enough time to test it or something. So I don't know. Maybe when that second generation of the controller hits, it'll be improved.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that happens? Like, do they? I guess it is. I mean, throughout the life cycle of a console, they will release like new versions of systems.
The controllers get usually better made, and for a cheaper cost if there are issues. But it's not like it'll be a huge. They won't overhaul the design.
No, I don't expect them to overhaul the design or even say, hey, it's a super pro controller, or even tell people that. I expect them to release a higher quality build of the controller without even basically saying it.
100%, that's what they'll do.
Yeah.
If they do it. Yeah.
So, yeah. And there was let's move on because not much else to talk about controllers.
Yeah.
Smash Bros. I believe we got an update via the Nintendo Power podcast
Okay, yeah.
for squad battles.
Yeah, we're going to disagree on this, but keep going.
So they've said on the squad, the issue we had about squad battles was that I think that when you choose your 5 fighters, you fight in the same battle. In one single battle, you use all your 5 fighters, and when one dies, the next one comes on. Derek thinks that when you fight, when one battle ends, it kind of ends that battle.
And it goes to that menu we've seen on the website, and you select, and then it goes to the next fight. It's like every time any professional esports has used the term squad fights or squad battles or squad competition, this is literally what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess That's not really what they said in this podcast.
Okay.
They said it's one continuous battle, and then when one dies, the next one just comes on.
They didn't
So-
say that.
Yeah, they did.
They did not say when one
They
dies,
said-
the next one just comes
Sorry,
on.
I know. I made that up. They did say one continuous battle, though.
They said one continuous battle, but Sakurai had said that already, and people were misunderstood. One battle does not mean all the rounds and stocks put together. One battle can be 5 rounds.
Well, it also
That's what
says
he's
that
saying.
when you can choose the stock, and you can actually have multiple stock per character as well.
Yeah, but that's what. So you can have one round that's 3 stock versus 3 stock, and the next round that's 2 stock versus 2 stock. The next round is a timed battle, and the next round is a 1 stock versus a 1
Yeah.
stock.
I mean,
But
here's the thing. I would prefer they just jump into that battle right then and there, and that'll probably end up being an option. But if you do have to go back to like a character select screen or something,
No,
which
it's not. It's not a character select screen. It's just the red blue thing, and it will. I agree that it will be quick and snappy. The round will end and go and show the screen. You press
And
A.
you choose the next
You press
one.
A and go right into the next fight.
Yeah, and my feeling is that the damage done to your fighter will remain for that next part.
100% disagree with that as well.
You think you'll go back? You think you'll go back to all your stock and all your zero?
Well, especially if you have different rounds with different settings, for sure.
There won't be different settings. It'll be if you choose a level and you have settings, those settings will remain for the entire squad battle.
We just said there's going to be different stocks. So if the first round,
No,
there's
I mean different stocks as in you can set it so that like let's say I have 3 fighters versus your 3 fighters, I can set it for 3 stock each. So I basically have 3 for each of my fighters.
yeah,
You
but
can't set it so you have like 3 the first one, 2 the second one, like 5 the next one.
oh, okay. See, that's why I misunderstood it.
No, that'd be way convoluted, I think.
Okay, I agree. That's why I was confused as well.
No, I think it'll be more like we both choose 3. You can choose how many like what kind of battle it is. Is it elimination? Is it stock? Is it timed?
I still am completely convinced your percentage will not carry over.
Okay, well, it's also stock. So you're saying if we have like let's say we have choose 3 fighters, 3 stock each. The first fight, I take one of your stock, so you have
Yep.
2 stock left. You think the next fight you'll go back to 3 stock?
I think they've said there's 2 different modes. One is the winner continues on, so I would start again with 3 stocks, and you'd have your second character, and you'd have 3 stocks. We start a new round. It's like elimination. Or the other mode, which is the best of 3 or the best of 5, which means we both move to our next character. I have won round 1. Now we both move to our next character.
You know what? I guess the jury's out on this mode.
I mean, I think I would say 98% of people agree with you that it's a tag stock battle, but I am not convinced. They should have, like, especially since there's so much controversy. The way the person on Nintendo Power Podcast explained it was just as unclear as Sakurai. And the only reason people think it's less unclear is because the guy on Game Explain after clarified. But he doesn't know. He just misinterpreted it and re-clarified something he didn't understand, in my opinion. So I really think that it is a squad battle like every other squad battle in every other game.
Well, we'll see. I mean, he even said, the guy in the Nintendo Power Podcast said it's going to be great for competitive play, this mode.
Yeah, but squad battle would be that too.
Yeah, I just think that your damage or your stock losses need to carry over, because otherwise
I would like that. But the main thing that I really care about is that squad battle is its own section of Smash. And Special Smash, which includes Smashdown, is its own section of Smash, which means there could be way more options in Squad Strike, and there could be way more options in Special Smash, which includes Smashdown, includes Tag Stock Battle, includes whatever. Like,
well, we know now that Squad Strike has its own menu option. Like, it's not in Special Smash.
That's what I mean. So it's like it could have a lot of robust details. It could be all of the things we're talking about, and you just pick and choose all these kind of things. Or in Special Smash, there could be Smashdown and Tag Battle, and then who cares about Squad Strike because you have both. It's like,
now, question: do you think that something like Squad Battle, considering it has its own menu spot under Smash on the Smash Bros menu, do you think that it's going to have an ability to play single player? Like, I can play against the CPU on like easy, medium, hard, and play like my 3 versus their 3.
I think so, of course.
Why not? Right? Like, why wouldn't I be able to like choose my favorite 3 and fight against like 3?
I'm betting it's Squad Battle. You can pick your AI's 5 or 3 or whatever, and you might even be able to set individual levels for each one.
It might even be cool if you can do it with Amiibo.
That'd be cool. But I mean, like, how fun would it be if, let's say, it was me and my 4 friends or 2 friends against 5 AI, and like, oh, my one friend's new at this game, I'll give him a level 3 computer, and against me, I'll give him I'll face a level 9.
Yeah, that's cool. No, there's a lot of cool possibilities.
Yeah.
You could even have a whole single player mode based on Squad Strike.
Well, that was basically Subspace Emissary.
I'm just kidding. They're not going to do that. Where it's like you go from level to level, and each level is a new squad strike.
Oh, you know what? That would, if this really was tag stock battle, I would love if they made a Squad Strike classic mode.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Though in the past they've kind of incorporated into classic mode, haven't they? Where it's like you can get into a classic mode stage, let's say, kill off DK, and then the next guy comes on after him. I mean, it's a different setup, but
All-Star mode is more like that. But yeah, I don't know if classic mode's ever done that. But All-Star mode.
I don't think classic mode has actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little Smash update for you. If you want, you can check out our 3-hour Smash Bros podcast. But generally, we talk about Smash Bros every podcast.
Yeah, it's just such a big game coming out.
It's a huge game and a huge deal. My most wanted game of the year is definitely Smash Bros.
Me too, 100%.
I
say 100% a lot,
Spider-Man?
but yes.
More than Spider-Man?
Yeah, I mean, I love Insomniac games, and I think they do awesome with Ratchet and Clank, and I'm excited for Spider-Man, but nothing really compares to Smash Bros., especially since 2 of my most wanted characters are in the discussions of being possibly included. So,
who's that?
Gino and Isaac from Golden Sun.
Oh wow, that'd be cool. I think that they're gonna come.
Yeah, I think if one of those makes it in, I'd be happy. Or one of them, or Paper Mario. If any of those 3 made it in, I'd be happy.
But yeah, I don't care as much about Paper Mario, but anyways, let's move on.
Yeah.
So, do we want to talk about the Nindies Direct? Do we want to talk about what was in the Direct first, or do we want to talk about some of these PAX indie announcements that have come out in and around the Direct?
Why don't we start with the Nindy Direct? Why don't you take it away and just kind of go through it? Okay,
so the Nindies Direct, it was about 15 minutes, a little bit shorter than the what's the UK one called, or the European one? Just
I thought that was the Nindies.
No, I guess no. My understanding now, I've kind of learned this, is that Nindies is referred to as the North American.
Oh, I
guess idea. It's just called Indies.
The Indy Direct, Nintendo Indies.
Yeah, it was the Indy showcase, but yeah, I guess but it's. I thought it was interesting because when you watch the Nindies Direct, it's a different host, a different style, like a completely different format of video.
Yeah, it was completely different.
And my understanding is that, I can't remember his name, but the dude in the Nindies Direct, he's kind of the head of the indie program on Switch, so to speak.
Yeah, I think he's like third-party software development relations or something. He's something like that.
Well, I gotta say, he's doing a good job.
Yeah, I agree.
And when I see him talking, he really seems like he has that good kind of Nintendo personality. Like he's a kind of like a nerdy dad. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and he seems like he knows the games he's actually talking about. You know, he's not just in an office.
He seems like he cares. So he doesn't. I mean, I love, as much as I love Reggie. Like Reggie just doesn't not play video games or really know much about them.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think he plays a few, but I mean, like he plays them because he's told to or something.
I think he just kind of like watches his kid plays for an hour and then that's it. Like I don't think he takes it too seriously. Just based on seeing him play games at times in the past.
Yeah.
But that's fine. He's a president of a big company and he's all over the place. Like he goes to New York all the time
Japan all the time.
Does he go to Japan all the time?
I'm sure he must go somewhat.
He must go somewhat, but
he probably goes at least 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like in New York with the Nintendo store. Like every time they launch a game, he's there, like in the crowd.
Yeah.
So, and he's constantly at events. He goes to the Game Awards. He goes to E3. Like he's quite a. I think he's done a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're talking about Reggie, but after the Wii U kind of fiasco, I think the recovery of Nintendo and him kind of being through that, especially during a time when people were saying he should not work for Nintendo anymore. I think he's done good. I stand by him.
Oh, I love Reggie.
Yeah, and
you're right.
Bill
He's not a gamer.
No, I mean my favorite is Bill Trinan.
Yeah, he hasn't been in the scene as much these days though.
Well, he's more of a. I believe he's more behind the scenes. He does like localization. I think he
Yeah,
leads
he's
the
he's a
localization
translator.
team.
Yeah.
But he seems to have a bigger role than that. Like he seems like he's been at Nintendo longer than Reggie, and he was translating for Miyamoto like way back when.
Yeah.
So he must have a nice relationship with Miyamoto and I guess not Iwata anymore. But I mean he had a relationship with some of the higher ups over in Japan. So I would like to see Bill have more of a role. Like once in a while in like the older directs, he would come and make an appearance.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the directs now and recently have been more to the point. I don't know if you've noticed that. It's just kind of like game trailer, game trailer, game trailer. Where older directs they would kind of myth
I know,
about.
milk it, yeah.
Yeah, and it'd be like Bill sitting in a chair talking about something. Like,
Or like
trying to get...
the puppets, or like them fighting or whatever.
Yeah, I mean those are E3. Those are a bit different, but it's kind of like I feel like they would talk on and on and on about some silly DLC for a game I didn't care about, or talk about Skylanders or something. Like the Wii U era was a rough one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, let's talk about Indies. So I have a list of games here of what they announced. So I'll just go through them. There's Hyper Light Drifter.
Yeah.
Looked pretty cool. I believe it's already on PS4.
Yeah, I mean, that's a game I definitely am interested in getting.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a adventure with like a little bit of Zelda-esque, kind of like top down with
it's
a
like
sword.
a Zelda fighter, like kind of, it's like based on light. It's like almost like a futuristic kind of Zelda.
Yeah, it's set in the future or something. I don't know much about these indie games, by the way.
Yeah,
I wasn't too impressed with... I mean, nothing really shot out at me, I guess you could say. So
I think there was a bunch of good games, but nothing that was like a great game.
Then there's nothing that was like Shadow Drop that we have to buy now.
Yeah. I mean, well, there was a Shadow Drop, but we just weren't interested.
Into the Breaches? Or Into
Yeah.
the Breach? I don't know anything about this game.
I know, but I checked 90. It has almost a 90 on Metacritic, so it's definitely worthwhile.
What kind of game is it?
It's a tactical strategy game. It's like Fire Emblem, but it's also like
This game, okay.
It's also like Bad North, where it's if you lose, you restart from the beginning.
Oh my god, what is with that?
But
impulse?
there's one thing. There are some things that you carry over. It's like you're trying to get. There's like 8 different teams, and each team there's achievements. So you're trying to get all the achievements for one team, and but if you reset, you still have those achievements.
Oh, okay. So there
it-
is some carryover.
Yeah, and there's a thing where it's like when you lose, you go back in time. So one of your pilots retains all their stats and their skills.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
So you get one character that goes back in time and like restarts the whole thing.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so and people apparently say it's super fun, super interesting. There's a lot of strategy to it, a lot of variety. So, I mean,
This game did actually look interesting to me. I think the thing that turns me off, oddly, is the fact that it's on a square map.
yeah.
To me that just feels too gamey. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel immersed into a world or a setting or a story or with characters if every level is just a square. You know?
But apparently there's a lot of environmental dynamics that go on.
Oh, I believe that there's a lot to it. I just that just instantly takes me out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like that one little thing
Yeah,
where
every Fire Emblem level is a square level.
no, but Fire Emblem is usually like around a castle or in the woods or there's rivers. Like
Yeah, but
it's not.
these have oceans and mountains and
Yeah, but-
snow and ice. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
These look like a
Just because the grid is 8x8 as opposed to 20x20.
The thing is though, this one looks like every single grid is the exact same. In Fire Emblem, it's not the exact same every level. They're completely different. And the edge of the map in Fire Emblem is basically like the edge of where you could perceivably walk. You know what I mean? It makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's like you're comparing an indie to a huge first party game.
I know what I'm saying is kind of not a big deal. It just little things like that
Make you
Are
less
a
interested in buying it.
are a big deal for me. I mean, even something like Wargroove, Bad North, which you said wasn't very good. That setting and appearance is better to me. Like it looks better to, at least they're on islands. It's motivated. They are.
Oh, see, I disagree. I think the graphics are better, and you're right. It's a little more varied in the island, but it's like I like the different units, the different strategy. Like there's no strategy in Bad North.
Well, I haven't played it. Just the presentation and setting to me was more impressive. But this game did look like it had some good pixel graphics. So are you going to pick up Into the Breach?
I think eventually, if it goes on sale, I mean, I don't know what the price is right now. I think it's $20 or something. It looks cool. I just bought a literally the same kind of game in Bad North, so it's like I don't know if I want to invest another $20 in another
Seems
one.
like you might want to wash the bad taste out of your mouth.
Yeah, so I mean maybe I should, but there's a bunch of other indie games that I'm interested in that we're going to talk about in this Nindies Direct.
Yes, okay. So let's move on. So the second game they showed after Hyperlight Drifter was Towerfall.
Yeah.
I know this is a popular game. It's kind of like another one of those beat 'em ups, like pixelated beat 'em ups.
Yeah, Towerfall was made by the guys. It was I don't know if it was the first game, but it was the game before Celeste.
Oh yeah, and now they have the characters from Celeste playable in Towerfall.
Yeah, I have Towerfall for PS4. It's an awesome game, super fun, amazing to play with a friend, especially if the friend knows what they're doing. Whether it's competitive or co-op, they have all the missions in co-op. They have challenge mode. Towerfall is a great game. If
So
you've never played it.
let me ask you a question about it because I have never played it. Do you climb a tower or do you just kind of
You're like,
what?
you're basically in a room. They have like 15 different level layout rooms, but the thing is, it's kind of weird where it's like there's pits at the bottom, but if you fall through the pit, you end up at the very top and you fall through the top of the screen. And if you jump through the top, you jump up through the bottom. So it's kind of like a forever room.
And what's the goal in the room? To like take out all the enemies?
Take out all the enemies, or if you're playing competitive, take out the other archers. But you get and you have 3 arrows to start, I think. And if you shoot the arrow, it stays in the wall, but you lose that arrow, so you have to go and pick it up again. Or you can pick up special arrows that like drill through the wall or like freeze an area. So it's like there's just arrows flying everywhere and monsters coming. You like drop down and you can jump on them, and you can like and you know Celeste has really good gameplay mechanics. It's the same where it's like slide dash jump. So you can do these crazy fast jumps all over, shooting arrows above and below you. Grab a special arrow, and then there's a move where if you dash into someone else's arrow, you pick it up, and then you have that as ammo.
Oh, cool! Like you're dashing into it from behind.
So if they aim at you and you time your dash, it's like almost like a parry, but you grab their arrow, so now you have their ammo. So
Oh, that's cool.
There could be a point where you have no arrows, and that your enemy has all 6, so you're trying to like dodge and grab them and then shoot back.
So it's kind of more of a bow and arrow fighter than there's no swords or anything, is there?
No, it's you either use your arrow or you jump on top of them.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep it on my radar.
It's definitely fun if you want to play with like a buddy or two, or it's more of a if you have a friend or two that like because you can just do it on one system, right? It's more fun with a friend or two.
It sounds like it'd be fun to play portable, kind of splitting the Joy-Con with a friend and like that kind of game. That's good to play on the go.
Totally, it is exactly like that.
Yeah, maybe I'll grab it. The next game they showed was Treasure Stack Winter.
Treasure Stack Winter. Okay, let me look this up because I don't remember this title.
I don't remember it that well either, so I'm gonna look it up. But I didn't. Oh, it's a puzzler. Usually these don't really resonate with me, but it's basically just kind of like it almost reminds me of Wario Woods.
Sorry, it's called Treasure Track Winter.
Treasure Stack.
Treasure Stack.
It's actually just called Treasure Stack. Winter is when it's coming out.
Oh.
Sorry. Treasure Stack Winter.
Oh, I remember this game. Yep. This game looked kind of cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. This is just not my kind of game at all.
Me too. I don't know what it's called, Tetris puzzles. But people
Just
that like
puzzles in general, I think.
Yeah, but I mean like there are different kind of puzzle games, right? This is like the Tetris style, like things are falling down and you're in like a certain zone.
I mean, I think if I'm going to get a puzzler on Switch, it's going to be Lumens or Puyo Puyo versus Tetris.
Yeah, I think I mean, like, this looks cool, and I think people that love these kind of games, it has a kind of a nice spin on it, but yeah, I'm not a big puzzler either. And if I was going to get one, I'd get a different one, like you said.
Yeah. Now, the next game is Zarvat. Do you remember this one?
This is the one where you're a cube, right?
Yes. This is actually, and you know what, I've actually looked into this a little bit, and it actually looks pretty good. It's got kind of a multiplayer mode, but it's also got a single player mode as well. Mm-hmm. And the graphics are really simple, but it's like you're basically controlling a cube that can shoot. But the actual environments have a lot of detail and like interesting lighting, and it's actually the graphics are pretty impressive. It comes out, I guess, sometime in October.
Yeah.
This year, so keep an eye out for that. It looks like it'd be another fun multiplayer game.
Yeah, it was a cool one.
I mean, for me, a big thing that I'm always looking for is co-op. So, does this game have a co-op feature for like does the campaign have a co-op? That's
I
gonna be
think
a
yeah,
huge
I
factor in me
agree.
buying it.
I think this one does.
Yeah, it looks like it did from the trailer, but it's hard to tell what's multiplayer and what's the campaign.
Hmm.
After this, we've got Mineko's Night Market.
Oh yeah, this one doesn't really interest me.
Um, I don't even understand this one personally. You kind of like run around collecting cats.
No, you collect resources and you build like little crafts and you sell them at your night market. You're like a night market salesperson, so you build stuff throughout the day and then you sell them at night and you like haggle and barter is what I got from it.
Okay. Well, the gameplay to me in this looked not very interesting, but I do gotta say I was very impressed by the presentation.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, like the graphics?
yeah.
I mean, it's a cool style. It's not really for me, but
Well, I just think it looks really good. So, whoops, sorry, I was trying to send you something there. I found this little image here where it shows you kind of walking the seasons changing.
yeah.
Um, have you seen that? Have you seen that little thing? I don't know if it was in the trailer.
Where the image changes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that, but that's not actually part of the gameplay.
Well, no, but I think it shows that it kind of has like a seasons changing throughout the game thing. Well, I
Yeah.
guess sort of Stardew Valley. It's kind of like Stardew, isn't it?
Um,
It's like a
yeah.
farm. It's in it more or less like a farming
It's something like I
ish.
mean, again, you just raised a really good point. Is if I was gonna get a game, I'd rather just get Stardew than this. Not that this game looks bad by any means. It's just not. I think Stardew is just the superior kind of quality of this game. This type
Yeah,
of game.
and I'm kind of at this point now with indie games where there's so many of them that I kind of will wait till I hear from the common gamer that these games are excellent. Like if a year goes by and everyone's like, yeah, Moniko's Night Market is just so awesome, it's so unique, so clever, then I'd probably get on board.
Yeah, I mean, we're entering the point now where it's like there's so many good indie games on the Switch. Where like 6 months ago or a year ago that wasn't the case. But now it's like you really have to. The competition's growing on the Switch.
Oh, well, it's almost it's like the lead system for indies. If you
Yeah,
think about it.
that's what I'm,
I mean, every
that's what I'm
indies,
saying.
so many indies are coming just to Switch or to Switch and PC,
Hmm.
or first to Switch, or if it's a game that's already come out on the other systems, it's coming to Switch. Like it's the indie machine.
Yes,
Even
it
though
is.
my controller doesn't work, but you know what I'm gonna do? Actually, side note, I think I'm gonna get my controller modded with the D-pad. I think I'm gonna get my current ones modded and buy new ones.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because apparently they can mod your Joy-Cons to fix the sync issue as well. So you
Oh,
just send it
cool.
in. It's like you send it in, you pay like $30, and they can mod it with the D-pad, and they can also fix that. So
Cool.
yeah,
But
and
but doesn't that mean I thought you couldn't use Bluetooth at that point? You couldn't do the wireless anymore.
oh, for sure you can.
Oh, I'm pretty sure when you get the D-pad model or whatever, they
No, so what you're thinking of is there's a
the
model
Hori.
that came out. The Hori model came out that's like really cheap too. It's like $30 for the both Joy Cons. But the thing is that they don't have Rumble, they don't have Bluetooth, they can't go wireless. Like there's a lot of drawbacks,
Hmm.
but you can only use them when they're attached to the Switch. So if you're only going to play handheld, it can work. But I mean, I don't know if I do that because I still want to be able to disconnect them.
Yeah,
So no, I'm not getting the Hori one. You literally
you're
just
just getting
send
modded. Okay, I understand.
yeah, you just
Okay,
send your Nintendo ones in.
Let's go back to this direct.
Okay. So next we have Samurai Gun 2.
Okay, what did you think about this one? Because I didn't. I honestly thought this looked terrible.
Well, I hate to ever say any of them look terrible
Not
because
terrible, but I have one thing that it would just bother me to no end is when you hit someone that black like the highlight focus. I couldn't stand that.
I don't quite know what you mean, but I'm trying to look here to see
What game is it? Samurai. What is it called?
Samurai Gun
or-
2, and it almost looks like it's got like a Celeste style graphics. And are you thinking about the right game?
I'm pretty sure it's when you hit someone. doesn't it have like that black? Maybe I'm thinking of another samurai game that is coming out.
This kind of looks like a almost like Celeste meets Super Meat Boy. It's very bloody and very well. You know what? Watching the trailer now, it must have skipped me by the first time. But it's basically like it almost looks like Celeste, but with better graphics.
No, but
Um,
yeah, but my problem is watch the gameplay. Yeah, this is the right game. I'm talking about the game, right game.
Samurai Gun
Every
2.
every time someone gets hit, right, the whole screen goes black except for that hit and like the playable characters. Every time an enemy gets hit, it's so distracting, and I just don't think I could ever like a game that does that.
So you really, I didn't actually, I just saw the trailer and it cuts so fast between the clips that you can't really make out the gameplay.
Yeah,
Um,
but just watch any gameplay. Like you can Google gameplay. Like PAX West, I think it was today. Literally has gameplay of it. I can't do it. It's so distracting every fight.
oh,
Every
okay, I'm
time
watching some gameplay now and oh my god.
do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I see it now. It's like when you hit someone, the screen turns half black, but that's just the multiplayer.
No, it's not. It's the whole game. I've read about it.
Oh my god.
See,
That's
it's like
terrible.
and people. It's in the Samurai Gun 1 as well, and people like it. And like this game apparently is going to be good. I'm not criticizing the game at all. Just for me, I can't handle that. It's too distracting.
Wow, it's like when one of those little things that can just take you so out of a game.
It's like, and it freeze frames the game. Like how wonky is that for a platformer?
But you know, I can see playing this being
I could see
fun.
it being fun. Totally.
And when someone's when that happens, like someone's getting cut up to pieces, so it's like it's violent.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
And there's
You
a
know,
single,
the more honestly, the more I'm watching this actual gameplay footage, the more I'm actually more interested in this game.
yeah, and you know what? The cooperative single player adventure seems good too. I mean, I like how fast and fluid it is.
Yeah, this is seriously growing on me second by second. It
Yeah,
looks really fun. Okay,
yeah, it
I'm
actually does look
I'm
fun.
more up on the fence on this one.
I mean, I'm kind of in the place now where there's all these games that take place in kind of like pixelated fighters. I don't. Is there a genre name for these? Like same thing as Towerfall, right? Like you're in one room on the screen. The screen is one room.
Like
and
arena fighters, maybe.
like in a pixelated arena fighters, I guess we could call them. I believe there's a couple more in this stack of games, but I'm probably in this place now. And there's also that Bumblebee game, Queen Bee.
And the one with the hats, the one that we're going to talk about in a few minutes.
Yeah, so it's kind of at this place where I don't know. I'll probably just find the best one and buy that.
hmm
I'm not gonna buy more than one of those that type of game.
I think you should definitely get Towerfall.
Yeah, okay, I'll look into it. The next one is called Bullet Age,
Okay, yeah.
and you know we talked about recently about having like Flash style graphics in a game,
hmm
like graphics that look Flash based, and to me this is this is the perfect example of that. Where you know I had an argument with
Yes.
my friend Dave recently, and he thought that the graphics in Dead Cells looked really bad. He goes, "I can't believe you'd pay $30 for that." And I'm like, "I don't look bad to me. Like I like this pixelated look. I like
Yeah.
this kind of sprite based pixelated look." And when I look at something like Bullet Age, because I was interested in this, it's a co-op adventure. Like it's like a full, almost like Geomon meets.
It it's kind of like oh, what's the game where you're it's like Star it's not Star Force, it's like Gunstar, not Gunstar Heroes. It's like kind of like a gun game. I don't know, I can't think of it.
Contra.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, Contra is exactly what I was thinking
Well, it
of.
almost feels like to me like Geomon meets Contra because you're not only going through levels with shooting, but you're also kind of going through towns and upgrading, and I think there's like some RPG light mechanics there.
hmm
So to me, this looked really cool because I'm always looking for co-op games, especially co-op adventure games, and this kind of shot out at me when it said you can play the whole adventure in co-op,
Yeah.
especially because it's like RPG and we'd be upgrading and playing the levels together, and that sounded really cool. But then I looked at the graphics and I'm like, wow, it just doesn't look impressive.
Oh, I think it looks really beautiful, but I understand the whole idea of it looks like a computer flash game. But it
You
it
think
really
that this game looks really beautiful? Like,
well, I just think it's like if you go to the images, they really are clean. Like it's nice, it's colorful, it's like it's crisp.
okay, but those are the images. But if you watch the actual gameplay, for
Yeah.
one, the levels don't have a lot of enemies or a lot going on. Like it's not like there's not a lot of movement in the level. Like if you look at the screens, that's fine, but if you watch it being played, it's just not
True,
nearly
you're
as,
right.
as impressive to me. There's just not, yeah, there's not a ton going on the screen. The animation's not really great, and it really does look like kind of like a really high-end Newgrounds game.
Yeah.
And you see there's this one clip of them kind of traveling around the map, and there's a boat going across the water. Do you see that clip?
Yep.
And it's just like the boat moving looks so bad. Like it's just like a boat model waving, making no waves in the water. It's like it's just.
You know what? I still disagree. I think this game looks great. I'm more interested in this than some of the other indies we've talked about.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll wait to see how it goes because I mean, with cooperative adventure, I'm so down. It comes out in November, so we'll see. I guess just back to that graphics discussion, I find the graphics in something like Samurai Gun 2 more impressive than Bullet Age. I prefer that. Like, I guess what I'm saying is I prefer that pixelated look with faster, better animation than I prefer that kind of.
I agree. This game feels a little bit more robotic. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So whatever. I mean, the jury's out on all these games. Like, nothing's a for sure for me, but nothing's a. Well, there's one for sure we're gonna come to later.
Yeah.
But nothing's for sure. But they a lot of games look good.
Mm-hmm.
So next we've got the world next door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure what to make of this. It looks like it's kind of like a puzzle game.
It's a puzzle game too, right? Oh yeah.
Puzzle game with like kind of like a story to go with it, like an overworld and story.
This story looks really cool, and the puzzles look really uninteresting to me.
Yeah, this game to me it looks like a straight miss.
For me, totally. But I could see people loving, like people that love these kind of story games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be really cool, but I think the puzzling, like the actual fighting part of it, it just looks very simple.
It looks banal.
I mean, I'm definitely open to it if it gets really amazing reviews and people say, oh, it's so fun and so crazy. Like, okay. But just from what I saw, it didn't look like it had a lot of depth.
Yeah, I'm really not into those kind of puzzle games. Like that kind of puzzle is almost like a single puzzle from Uncharted.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to that moment in Uncharted, I really not having a good time. So it's like taking me back to the shooting. Interesting thought though with something like The World Next Door and Mineko's Night Market. Do you think some of these games are perhaps being designed and marketed for a target demographic of female?
Definitely. I don't know about this game, The World Next Door. I think Mineko's Night Market for sure. But this game I'm not sure about.
I wonder. Yeah, it's hard to say because it does seem like some of these indie games do go for like a completely different demographic than the typical retail video game.
It's funny, but to me, like the main character in this game we're talking about, The World Next Door, her name's June or Jun. She's wearing like pretty revealing clothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like they're trying to also cater to the male audience that likes that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and on a side note, I really don't like that stuff. To be honest, one of the biggest things turning me off of wanting to play or buy Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is just the gross outfits
like
they wear.
In your face, yeah.
The cleavage. And I saw some video where they're joking about, they made some sort of penis joke. It's just really, yeah. No, this is one, if you look up like the worst cutscene in Xenoblade 2, it's something to do with like a one-eyed snake or something. And they go, you know what that means, don't you? And it's like doing, doing, doing. Like it's cringeworthy.
You have a dog in the background, Peter.
I know. Go.
Careful.
I know. I was trying to think of something to do, but no, there's nothing I can do about that. That's my dog.
Yeah, but I mean, you're a big fan of Bayonetta. I mean, Bayonetta has that same kind of theme.
I would say not the same because it's more motivated. Like her body type. I mean, for one, she's a witch, so for her to kind of like exemplify like a perfect figure almost makes sense in the narrative. And I know what you mean. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel as gratuitous. It feels like, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is some of these games feel like it's a 14-year-old boy writing it.
Yeah, I
And some of
agree.
it feels like it's a little bit of an older, maybe a man-child writing it.
So, what's the difference? Some to me, I think sometimes it's over the top, but for the most part, it doesn't do anything for me, but doesn't deter me either. I care more about is it a good game.
Yeah, so I don't know. Something, I
I
mean,
mean,
I
like
just,
Fire Emblem can get pretty bad with that stuff too. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
Fire Emblem literally has a part of the game that in Fire Emblem Echoes, not Echoes, Conquest and those Fates, Fire Emblem Fates, where you can
yeah,
like take the person in a room and pet them and like touch them.
yeah, very creepy.
So it's like, yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to make of all of that yet, but I don't know. I don't think it's realistic to be on the battlefield showing your cleavage.
yeah.
That
But
just doesn't make sense.
anyways, this game not for me.
Yeah, yeah, pass. Okay, so the next game is also a big pass for me. It's called Levelhead.
Okay, yeah.
It's basically a level creator. It's kind of like in the vein of Mario Maker. Like you create levels, you can play levels online. There's a whole bunch of levels. They said in the trailer there's like a billion levels or something. I don't think ever be a billion levels.
Wait, I'm surprised you didn't like this game. This game looked kind of cool.
Well, to me, it just looks like something that I can wait for Mario Maker.
I know this is to me. This is like if you really want a Mario Maker and you can't wait. This is like the indie version of it.
Yeah, and I think for me with like level creators, I've never been a fan of them. I mean, I played Little Big Planet back in the day, but it's like I need to enjoy the mechanics first and foremost. And in something like Little Big Planet, they sold it on the fact that you could create and do anything. So I bought it, and then the mechanics aren't very good. And it's funny because they made three sequels out of it, and I think the base mechanics of controlling Sackboy and controlling, I'm like, I don't know. Did you ever play Little Big Planet?
I played one a bit with you, I think.
Just the controls and the mechanics are not tight. They're not very good, and they're not
Yeah,
fun.
it feels a little stiff.
Yeah, it feels a little stiff, and I just don't like. Well, if anything, it feels almost a little loose. Like you don't know where the edge of each platform is, and the hopping between like three planes, like forward plane, middle plane, back plane. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember.
Just really wanky, and that's a really wanky thing to do when you're jumping in the air and you're actually jumping planes, and it's like you just don't know where you're landing. It's not tight. It's not well designed.
Yeah, I mean the only thing I would give it credit for though is it's not grid based like Mario. It's like Mario's a grid based game.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit easier to define edges and define slopes and all that kind of stuff when you have a square based game where Little Big Planet is totally freeform.
true. But I think that's something that platformers need to get right. They
Yeah,
need to get that right.
yeah.
And it's the difference between a good platformer and a bad platformer. No matter if it's grid-based, simple 2D sprite graphics, or if it's much, 3D polygonal. There are
Hmm.
certainly games that have good tight mechanics and games that don't. I don't know what Levelhead will have, but as of now, it's like I just feel like it needs to sell me on the actual core gameplay and core mechanics, and then I'll be excited about a level editor.
The one thing I gotta say though is it's smart that they're. I mean, I don't know how long they've been working on this game, but that they're coming out before Mario Maker is even announced for the Switch because they know once that game gets announced, their game's gonna flop.
Well, it comes out in November, so potentially Mario Maker could be announced before then.
True, but I'm just
I hope they announce it and it comes out like the day before.
Mario Maker comes out the day
Yeah,
before.
it's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on. The next one is King of the Hat coming out next year.
So this is another arena fighter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about this one?
Um, I really like the idea behind the game. It looks really funny and pretty silly. But again, it's another arena fighter, just not for me.
Yeah, I don't quite understand the gameplay in this. I mean, I like the graphics. They kind of remind me of Adventure Time.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's like I guess you just kind of use your hat to fight, and
It's basically like you can only be killed by being jumped by. I think it's either your hat being jumped on or your head being jumped on when you're not wearing your hat. But it's like you can only use your hat to fight too. So it's like it's risk versus reward. I don't know. There's something to it.
that might be fun. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, it's like I'm gonna wait till I hear reviews and find out, what the best of these kind of arena fighters are.
Yeah. I I mean,
I
again,
mean,
I still think it'll be Towerfall in the end. But
what you described to me of the whole Towerfall bow and arrow thing doesn't quite do it for me.
oh, really?
I mean, I like combat that's a little bit melee based or
Okay,
brawl
okay.
based, not just shooter.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, this is probably a pass for me. I mean, to be honest, when I look at this list, there's only one game I'm definitely gonna buy, and
Is this the next one? Or are we going
that's
in
the
order?
next game called
Okay.
Untitled Goose Game.
Okay. Take it away, Peter.
Now, this game to me looks incredible. For one, it's got a really good new graphical style. Like it almost looks like a cartoon, but it's really consistent. Like the human models and the way they chase after you and the way the whole world is laid out it's really like the art design's really well done.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of reminds me of like Paperboy, that like you're looking down on like domestic residential homes and stuff. It just gives me, isn't that old Paperboy vibe?
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, the game is about being a jerk and pissing people off. And has a game ever been about that before?
No,
So
not when
it's
you play
kind
as a
of
goose.
yeah, it's kind of it's just a funny game. It's like almost cute in a way because you're basically controlling a goose and you have like this. I saw some gameplay of it, and you kind of have missions to accomplish in different areas, and one of the missions will be like rake in the lake. Like that's all it'll say, and so you have to find the rake and basically drag it out to the lake before the farmer can stop you. And then like that's just one of the missions. And by the time this player completed all the missions in the gardener's backyard or the farmer, it's like the whole backyard was havoc. You know what I mean? He had like destroyed the flower. The goose had destroyed the flowers and like
Yeah.
soaked him in water and dragged his keys out to the lake. Like it was just like it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of game, and I almost think this could break into a whole new genre. And I'm constantly looking for games that I can show my non-gamer friends.
Well, I think this genre kind of already exists, right? The simulator games, like the bee simulator, the goat simulator.
True, but I mean, Goat Simulator was so bad. It was just so janky.
I know this looks like actually like it's a refined game.
Yeah, and it looks
Yeah.
like something I could turn on and show a non-gaming friend, and they could get a laugh out of it
You could
and
just,
enjoy it.
I think even better, you could hand them the controls and just say play.
Yeah, like run around as a goose, fuck around.
Yeah.
The one thing with this game is I really hope that they said it's sandbox style in Indies, and I've stuck to that sandbox style world because I'm kind of hoping it's an open environment.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can just if you're in, let's say the video they showed, you're in the gardener's backyard. Can I walk away from the gardener's backyard? Like, can I do a couple missions there, annoy him a little bit, and then leave and go to like someone across the street, and then walk down the street to a store? Like, or is it going to be like level based? Like, how is the structure of the game? Because I feel like if it's the kind of game where you are just in this open-ish world, like a little town and a residential street, it doesn't have to be that big. It could be like a little market and a store and 5 houses along a street.
Yeah.
Because the backyards, the interiors, it could be really big. Is it going to have that structure? Because I think it'll be a lot more interesting to have that open structure of, just walk around, muck about, do what you want to, see the world and laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it going to be something where it's like, no, here's the gardener's backyard level, here's your missions, finish all the missions to go to the next level. Like, it's a totally different vibe.
Yeah.
And I guess I'd much prefer the former idea of it just being kind of an open layout. Just pass the controller and just walk around and mess around.
Yeah, do what you want. Yeah, I agree. It has a unique gameplay, unique graphics, and I agree with the sandbox idea. It'd be way more fun than just mission based. And from what I see, just from images and what I remember from the video, it does look like you can leave the gardener's garden and go to the lake and do whatever.
Yeah, it does look like that. So I'm really excited for that one. It comes out early in 2019, they said, and right now it's called Untitled Goose Game, I think. And I really hope they keep that name. That's a great name.
Me too. Yeah.
Untitled. I don't know if that's like their goal, but because you'd think they'd just be able to come up with a goose name.
I think they might have wanted that to be the name, and then they kind of also put it out on the Switch, Indy Direct, and wanted to feel what people thought of it. And I think every single person loves the name.
I mean, this game was the highlight of the Direct for me.
Yeah.
Bar none. So yeah, that's a day one. One of my most excited games right now. And I guess now we can conclude the Switch has a pretty good lineup for 2019 with Untitled Goose Game.
Yes.
So the next game on the list is called Desert Child.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to make of this.
Let me just get a picture up so I
It
remember.
looks cool. I mean, it's like there's like a you're flying in like a 3D.
Oh, this one I thought we only saw 3 seconds of it.
Yeah, but it's already on PS4.
Oh,
So there's like gameplay trailers out for that, and it's like
it's almost
you.
like a shoot 'em up.
It's almost like a yeah shmup, but you're like flying on like a hover bike,
It
and
looks cool,
it does look actually really
and
cool.
there is
I mean,
co-op in it.
I don't know how this kind of went over my radar. I guess because they didn't really show like there was like they kind of did a quick show reel at the end of the Nindies Direct, so a lot of
Yeah.
games that got a very quick display. But yeah, this looks really cool. I mean, it depends on the price, but looks fun, looks cool. I like I like
Yeah.
that graphical style a lot.
Yeah, I think looks good, solid.
Next, we've got Wasteland 2. I'm having to like look up these games again because I honestly don't remember. Oh yeah, Wasteland 2. It's kind of like a real-time strategy RPG. I think, kind of like a
Yep.
top-down, like a StarCraft Civ kind of game.
I don't remember that. This must have been so quick. I don't remember seeing.
Yeah,
this
a
game.
lot
It
of these
looked
games
kinda
are
cool.
so quick, so that's why I'm kind of pulling them now. So it looks kind of like an XCOM meets
Fire Emblem meets
Command and Conquer.
Codename Steam. Yeah, I know what you mean. StarCraft.
Don't
Yeah.
bring Codename Steam into this. That's just gonna turn people right off. I actually liked Codename Steam. It actually does remind me of Codename Steam, to be honest. Just a
Well,
bit-
Codename. I just mean they're kind of built around the same XCOM kind of idea.
Yeah, and the graphics look good. It looks like a interesting
looks
strategy
cool.
game. Yeah, I mean we'll get to when we get to the end of this list here. It's interesting. It's like the games that weren't shown but shown later are more interesting to me than the games that were shown in this direct.
Because I think when they showed the highlights, like the more focused, they're showing games that they know the masses will love, right? Like the same art style, the same gameplay style, but it gets repetitive. Like these are a little bit more out there.
Yeah, and I also think it's that games like the bigger games like Travis Strikes Again and the Shovel Knight fighter game. I can't remember what it's called.
House of Cards, King of Cards, or something.
King of Cards. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Like, yeah, like that gets us a reveal via IGN, like an exclusive reveal. So they don't need Nindies. So I think, they decided to go around Nindies because they were big enough to get their own reveal and get their own notice. So we've got this game Bastion next on the list, and this is an older game. I believe it came out for Xbox 360.
And I'm not sure. I think it might have come out for PlayStation 2 or.
I think it did eventually, and I mean, this is some of those games where back in the day I always looked at and said, that game looks really cool.
This game looks awesome.
Like, the graphics look really cool, and it's kind of like a fighter
And
adventure
this was
kinda
like
game.
I checked the reviews on this one. It has like an 89 on reviews. Everyone that I've read everything I've read about it says this game's awesome. So this is probably if I'm gonna get an indie game the next month or two, it'll be this one.
Yeah, it looks really beautiful, and it was a big standout on the 360, and looks great. It really does. I really like. It's like a watercolor-esque
Yeah,
coloring.
it's nice.
And it's almost like another. It's pretty much an indie classic at this point. So it's almost like it's just another indie classic hitting the Switch. Next on the list, we've got Messenger, and we talked about Messenger last time. It just came out. It's kind of like a Ninja Gaiden spin-off. Not spin-off, Ninja Gaiden inspired game.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about this last time. I was so on board with this, but when I found out that it kind of breaks into like a Metroidvania halfway through, I got really turned off.
Oh, I'm the opposite.
That's not really what Ninja Gaiden was, and apparently from the reviews I've heard, it really kind of kills the momentum of the game.
Oh, I've heard the opposite. Most people, everything I've read about it says the beginning's okay, like a okay game, and then the second half is amazing.
So yeah, I mean, I've heard both things, and if it sounds like it depends on your preference. The review from Game Explain basically said they loved the first half, but when it broke into the Metroidvania, it had too much backtracking, and you're a little too much like searching for secrets. Where, Ninja Gaiden was very momentum based. Like you kind of just, if you stopped running forward, you I don't know if have you ever played the original Ninja Gaiden games?
No,
You've never played any Ninja Gaiden, have you?
I think I've seen you play Ninja Gaiden Black. I think back when you had a 360, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think I ever had Black. I think I just had the original. But Ninja Gaiden was also for the. I bought it for the Wii Virtual Console, like 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, yeah.
And they were actually really good games. Like they're known to be super hard, but they're not that hard. It's more just like the level is super short. It's almost like the original version of something like Celeste. Like I don't know what you call them, like the quick death, quick spawn platformer. I guess you'd call it.
Perfect platformer.
Perfect platformer. Okay,
That's
that's a good name. It's almost like that because you would run, but you'd have life. But if you die, you could start right back at the beginning of the level, and it's almost messy. Like you're just trying to grind your way through, and there's enemies everywhere, and it's NES, so they're kind of spawning all over the place. And it's kind of a messy experience, but it's fun. And Ninja Gaiden was just never a game where you had to really go around and explore environments. It was really just like left to right, left to right, left to right, and I was kind of hoping for something a little simpler like Messenger. I mean, here's my problem is that I want it, but I want a game that I can turn on and turn my brain off and just kind of battle through. And when you get to that point where you actually have to explore a world and like remember the map, it's like a totally different game. And it's a totally different side of your brain.
Yeah,
and
we're completely opposite on this. I think that's the reason I like it.
yeah, we are opposite. And I guess I'm down with that kind of open exploration game. But I don't know.
Okay, well, I just want listeners to understand that if you are interested in this, like The Messenger looks like a really good game.
It's gotten good reviews too.
So yeah, so don't. It's up to your preference, of course, but check it out definitely and let us know what you think because this game looks really cool. Whether you're into 2D side scrolling and simple brainless levels or thoughtful.
To be honest,
exploring.
I would have bought this if I could run to the right on Switch. But I can't run to the right without ducking all the time.
Your controller, yeah.
So literally, my controller hampers me from playing this game. So
I'm probably going to get this game in the next week.
Oh wow! Okay, so we'll talk about it on our next podcast, maybe. Yeah, I think it looks good. I'm going to pick it up eventually. I think it'll sell well. But yeah, it's interesting. It's actually interesting that it does kind of completely change gameplay approaches halfway because games don't really do that very often.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Next, we've got Undertale. And do you want to talk about Undertale? Because I think you know more about it.
Well, I know Undertale's a widely loved game. Came out for I think PC first, or PC, PS4, and Xbox One all at the same time. It's kind of like this. I think it draws a lot from the original Earthbound kind of game where it's like an RPG in this old school style where an enemy pops up and you have like the text box and it tells you how much damage you do and all that kind of stuff. But apparently it has a lot of charm, a great story, quirky characters, and it's like extremely lovable. I personally never got it because I just didn't like the art style. It's like almost too NES era for me. But
Yep.
Apparently it's like extremely highly rated and loved in like a lot of people's game of the year.
It's another one of those. It came out last year, I think, right?
I think it was 2016. Let me check.
No, it was last August 15th, 2017. And
no, I have September 15th, 2015.
oh, sorry, the PS4 version was August 15th, 2017.
Oh, I think that the original came out on Steam then in 2015.
So this is actually, it's an RPG, actually.
Didn't I say that?
Well, I know, it just doesn't look like one.
I know, it's like Earthbound, though. It's like kind of a...
Yeah. So the one I'm on, I saw the 92 on Metacritic here. So, I mean, this is actually jumping up my radar now, too. But the one review that stuck out to me was from GameSpot, and they said, "You wouldn't know it with a passing glance, but Undertale is one of the most progressive and innovative RPGs to come in a long time, breaking down tradition for the sake of invention with great success." So that's on my radar, and that comes out in September 18th, pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually
God
interested
damn it.
in getting this game.
God damn it. I mean, the moment I tell myself no more games, I'm now buying like 5 more games.
That's the Switch for you.
That's the Switch for you, yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those games that it's like I might as well just pick up now or eventually because everyone has said it's so good. It's like it really doesn't interest me, but I almost need to see what it's like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It does look cool. I really like that NES, like the 8-bit retro graphics. I like that style when the animation is good. It's like a nice, such an interesting look because, and the Messenger doesn't really do this, but I think Undertale does, and there's another game we'll be talking about later that does. Kind of takes that retro style, but then gives it like a modern, fresh animation. And Celeste kind of does it a little bit too, right? Just like with the number of pixels and the speed of the animation and the fluidity of it. Something that a game like Shovel Knight doesn't really do. It's just that fluid animation in those old games. Anyways, okay. The next game on the list is the Jackbox Party Pack 5, and this was something they showed very quickly. I mean, I have the Jackbox Party 3. It's kind of like, okay, you just keep making them, keep putting them on Switch. That's fine. And when I feel like it one day, maybe I'll buy another one.
Yeah, I mean, you have 3. I think our mom, if you guys didn't know, we are actually brothers. Our mom has 4, and my friends in Ottawa have, I think, 3 and 2. So
what does mom have it on? She has it on her laptop?
On Steam, yeah, on the computer.
She has a Steam account.
We made it just so she could play this game.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's kind of like if you like Jackbox Party games, it's great. It's like they have some great games. I think the one that is coming back that a lot of people really requested is You Don't Know Jack, which is a trivia game.
Okay, yeah.
So that's the big game that's coming back in this pack.
I mean, I might look into it. It's kind of like the occasion has to call for it. Like you have to have like a Thanksgiving event.
Yeah, like 6 to 10 people. But honestly, I've done it a lot of times, like during pre-drinks with friends, like when the first 6 people show up at a party or whatever.
Yeah,
it's kind of a fun drinking game just to hang out and talk.
Yeah, maybe I'll. I mean, I think it's really clever how it basically uses a web-based browser with code that anyone on their phone can use. Like it's a really clever setup. And it kind of harkens back to the days of the Wii U with like not being able to see the screen of the other player and what gameplay opportunities does that offer.
Yeah.
And it just kind of goes to show, the Wii U is a complete waste. You could have just had your iPhone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Side note, speaking of iPhone, iPad stuff, I have an idea. Tell me what you think about this idea. So the next new Mario Maker comes out, Mario Maker Deluxe or 2, whatever. They're gonna have Yoshi and multiplayer and ramps and all these different things. And I thought it'd be really cool if the game also came out with at the same time with a like an iOS or like an iPad, iPhone or Android app that lets you build the levels for free. So the level editor is, when you buy the game for Switch, you get the level editor and you get to play the levels and do like the 100 level challenge, and you get to review them and do this, that, and the other thing. But if you have an iPad or an iPhone or a smart device, you can actually just get the creator for free, and all the levels you create can still go on the game. You just have a limited option. Like basically, you can make levels and see how people like them and where they die and how they review them. But you can't play them unless you have the Switch version.
I think that's an awesome idea, but it will never happen.
I would never say never. I think it's a small percentage.
How would they possibly make that app free?
Because,
what does Apple benefit from doing that?
Well, why does Apple have to benefit? There's a lot of free apps that they don't benefit from. They benefit because you're buying their device and going to their app store.
I guess so. Yeah, true.
And there's a ton of free games that the only advantage is for the game.
Yeah, I guess it's not
seller.
really the same thing as a partnership. You're right. It's kind of just like putting an app on. Yeah, that could
it's
work.
Cool. I think it'd be really cool, and I think it'd be really cool that someone who doesn't even have a Switch can now participate in a Switch game. I think it'd be a brilliant idea, because like I could buy Mario Maker and say to my friend in Mexico who doesn't even have a Switch, he does, but if he didn't have a Switch, say, hey man, like make me a level. Like, cool. You could tell Daniela, hey, like why don't you make me a level to play?
Yeah.
And I think it would just lead a lot of people to, it would lead to a lot more levels, and it would lead to a lot more people being able to
and knowing about it, and then buying the Switch to play the levels.
I think it'd be huge.
But I think, if anything, they really should I think this sounds terrible, but they should monetize it in a way where it's like, you can have 10 levels saved, and then if you want to have another 10 levels able to be saved, it costs you $5. Do you know what I mean? So you can always have 10 levels, but if you want to make an 11th level, you have to erase an old one or buy an extra additional pack.
I mean, I agree with you that maybe there could be something where they spend like an extra $2 to get like more things to put in their level. But I think that if you just say, oh, 10 levels is all you get, like people are only going to make 10 levels.
Well, that's what I mean.
They'll probably, to be honest, most people who get this will probably make one level or two.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that maybe if you're going to monetize it, you do it with additional features to put in the level. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it'd still be worthwhile for them. It can only enhance the sales of the game. Like it's not like, oh, I don't need to. Oh, I can just get it for free on my phone. Why would I buy it on Switch? Well, it's like, do you want to actually play the game?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I think it would make it blow up. And it's also something where it's like, if parents hear about this, they'll be like, wow, like, you know, I can make a level for my kid to play while I'm at work or I'm on the train. I can look on my phone and continue on a level that's for my 5-year-old son to play at home.
You know, sell Nintendo Switches too.
Yeah, I mean, it's an idea I've kind of hearkened for a while now, and I understand why on the Wii U it wasn't a thing. But now with Nintendo being more modern, working on mobile more,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Anyways, moving on. Jackbox Party, it's a fun game. If you have a lot of friends around, you want a game for casuals, I definitely recommend it. But next on the list is Transistor, and I don't get why this game is so hyped. Do you know much about it?
I played it for like an hour on the PS4 when it was free on the PS Plus.
Yeah.
It's like a grid-based strategy game. It's like an RPG strategy game. It's kind of cool where it's like your move will hit everything in the horizontal line, and then another one of your moves will hit everything in a diagonal line. So it's like, how do you strategically use your horizontal move on the guys that want to use the horizontal hit? And it's like there's a lot of different. It is really technical. It's kind of cool.
But it is kind of like a adventure brawler, right?
I don't know. I would say a brawler. I think it has a story, and it's like you walk through the story, and like all of a sudden, it's like the grid pops up, and you're in like a grid-based fighting round
Universe. Oh, okay, cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
kind of like stage-based.
Yeah, it's almost like Mario and Rabbids, but the grids are like literal grids.
Yeah, in the structure of Mario and Rabbids, where it's like you kind of walk. A level begins, you begin the level. It's not like where it. There's different levels of this I've noticed where like, you know, some games will just kind of treat the whole world as the whole world. Do you know what I mean? Like this is the world, the gameplay is factored into that world. And some games really go out of their way to let you know when you're in gameplay time and when you're in story time.
Well, this is both. It's like the world you're walking in becomes the arena you're fighting in.
Okay, that's cool.
It's like Mario and Rabbids, right? It's like it's not like you enter a new it's not like you enter a new. It's like a screen pops up and you're in a different fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like built into the level you're walking around in.
So I believe the people who made Bastion, this is their game after Bastion.
Yeah, I think Bastion and Transistor are the games they made. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess they kind of came forward recently and said we're going to bring both of our big games to Switch.
There's one other big game they had that came out before both of them that people were requesting too. I don't know what it's called. I have to look it up, but
that's cool. Well, I don't think I'll get Transistor. It just doesn't really look like my kind of game. But
Pyre is a third game.
Okay, I'd probably go for Bastion.
Yeah, Bastion looks more like the kind of game I'd want to play. But if I really like Bastion, it would probably convince me to get Transistor. I'm looking at Pyre right now. It has a 9.7 on IGN, a 9 on Polygon, 9 on Steam.
Wow, I mean, I know it's on I think I have it for PSN.
Pyre?
But no, sorry, the one before. I don't. Is Higher on PS4?
No, Pyre. I think Pyre's only on. Oh yeah, it is on PlayStation 4. But Pyre apparently is really good too. So all three. So this I would say is an indie company, Super Giant Games, I think it's called.
Yeah, they're talented for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a company to keep looking out for.
Another thing to look at here is Dragon Mark for Death, the next one on the list.
Dragon Mark for Death. Yep.
It's a Nintendo Switch exclusive. Or it might be exclusive, console exclusive. But I don't know what to make of it. It's kind of like a 16-bit style 2D action romp.
Yeah, romp. Yeah.
I mean, what else do you call it? It kind of reminds me of like Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah.
Not really digging the art style. A little too.
I mean, it looks nice. It's like a nice. I think it looks really pretty. It's well made. I would never say I don't like the art style.
Looks pretty. It just looks like it's like clashy colors, and it's a little too much going on screen. And I don't really see a unified look between the enemies and the NPCs and the worlds. You know what I mean? It's not like something like Bastion, or you look at it, you're like, wow, that looks great. You look at this, you're kind of like, okay, you know.
I know. I wouldn't say that. I think this game looks. I mean, like, I don't know if I'll get this game, but I think it looks really nice, and I think I'm not gonna. I wouldn't criticize this game.
Well, it looks like there's co-op. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to criticize it, but just trying to like find a reason not to buy it because I don't want to buy more games.
Yeah, I mean, you can like and appreciate a game without buying it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The next one is called Light Fingers. I don't even remember this game being shown. I don't even understand what's happening in this game.
Yeah, I don't even remember this game at all. So I'm just gonna simply say I'll look forward to seeing more about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching a little trailer right now, and it looks like you kind of move around a map. I don't understand what I'm looking at.
To me, it almost looks like it's one of those mechanical displays in a museum where like things are moving.
Yeah,
It does
look
I don't even
cool.
know. Yeah, let's just say we'll talk about this when we know more about it.
Yeah, totally. Because I mean, this game is just a little bit confusing. It comes out very soon though, so in September. So who knows?
Yeah.
Next, we've got Super Brothers Swords and Sorcery. These games must have been shown extremely quickly. Like these games were not. These games on this list I'm looking at here must not have been showcased very long.
Yeah, these are like 3 seconds.
Yeah, essentially. So I'm watching a little clip here for Super Brothers. Oh, this looks neat. I don't really know. It looks like a story-driven. Have you seen much on this game?
I'm looking at it now. It doesn't really interest me. This is the kind of graphic style that doesn't interest me at all.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this game. It looks a little bit like kind of just like a exploration, maybe a little bit of story, like Ico journey style. Like they're going for that kind of journey.
Yeah, I don't really know what the gameplay is, but yeah, I agree. It's kind of like a more meditative kind of gameplay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then last but not least is Into the Breach. We already talked about that.
Yep.
Are you going to buy this Into the Breach with such high reviews?
Again, I think I would eventually, but the problem is there's, as we talked, probably 4 or 5 indies that I'm more interested in.
Yeah.
And also, by the time I get through those 4 or 5, there's so many other retail games and probably more indies that I'm more interested in. So eventually, if there's a lull and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll pick this up, potentially, but probably not.
Yeah, I agree. So I have a question.
It's gonna sell well, so I'm not like trying to put it down or anything.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. It's funny because I never expected to buy some of the indie games that I did. You know what I mean? I didn't even know what Dead Cells was till the reviews and review controversy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just kind of in a place where it's like I kind of just hold out for the after it comes out impressions.
Well, I mean, Into the Breach is already out, but yeah.
I know, and I guess the impressions aren't good enough.
I mean,
you know what?
It has a higher review than Dead Cells.
Well, truthfully, the reason that I probably wouldn't get something like what's it called again? The
Into the Breach.
Into the Breach.
Yep.
Is because I'm much more interested in Wargroove.
I agree.
And I gotta say, I was curious why some of the games were missing from this, but it seems like because of PAX, a lot of them were followed up on.
Yeah, I think some of them are shown at PAX.
Yeah, so I think, like we said, some of these games they didn't need the spotlight of the Nindies Direct, or they've had one before, so they've kind of come out in different platforms in different ways. Like for example, Shovel Knight King of Cards, I believe was shown exclusively through IGN, and it's playable at PAX, I believe. And I think this is kind of like a multiplayer spin-off of Shovel Knight. Is it part of the original Kickstarter campaign that people still get this for free?
The Shovel Knight one?
Yeah, I like it.
So the last things the Shovel Knight company, what are they, Yacht Club Games, I think?
Yeah, Yacht Club Games.
The last thing they promised was this solo campaign and the multiplayer mode. So after they've done this last Shovel Knight
Multiplayer mode, they can move on.
multiplayer mode, but they're also releasing a fourth campaign, right? So when the fourth campaign and multiplayer, which I think come out together, that's the last of the free DLC they've said.
And you purchased the everything pack, right?
That's the only pack I think you can purchase on the Switch.
Okay. I mean, I have it on Wii U, so I just wonder if I have access to Shovel Knight King of Cards on the Wii U.
I'm not sure about that. I know that I will get this for sure.
Yeah.
Like I get it for free for sure is what I mean.
I mean, I guess I love Shovel Knight the original release, but I've been very confused about how it's gone since.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite. I think Shovel Knight out of the 3 campaigns is the worst.
Out of what do you mean the 3? Oh, you mean Shovel Knight's campaigns versus the ones that come after? So, but correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't the campaigns after just different characters from Shovel Knight's story, but playing in the same levels?
Different levels. They had the same settings of each level, so all the levels are like the same theme. Like you have the ice one and the bomb one, but different story. You have different boss patterns, and you have different level like designs.
Okay.
And in my opinion, the other 2 are significantly better than the Shovel Knight one. I think Shovel Knight's great, but I think the developers learned as they went, and I think the second one is better, and I think the third one's the best.
Well, I played Shovel Knight when it first came out, so it was a while ago. I think it was like 2013. But I remember it got really easy by the end because you had this ability to like shoot a projectile as Shovel Knight. I don't know if you remember in this, and it just makes the game really easy. And no longer, like, you can literally just kind of stand back and fire this projectile and win every boss battle, and it kind of takes away from the game. But I think for me, though, as someone who purchased the first one, I've been kind of confused about what Shovel Knight's been doing, and I think that at this point I'm just kind of waiting for Shovel Knight 2. You know what I mean?
Well, I think they have to fulfill their promise first.
Yeah, just like, what's it called, Mighty Number 9. Still waiting for the 3DS version. It's never coming.
But if I don't know if you have them for free, Peter, but I would really recommend you playing the third Shovel Knight campaign, especially the third, maybe the second too. I think it's
Who do you play as?
You play as Spectre Knight and Plague Knight. So you play as the guy with the bombs in the second one, and the third one you play with the guy as the Sith.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I like Siths.
Yeah, and he has really fluid gameplay. It was so probably one of my favorite 2D.
Oh yeah, I'll probably wait for a sale, but I'll probably check that out. And Shovel Knight King of Cards, I don't know why it's called King of Cards because it doesn't look like it has cards have anything to do with it. But it's another one of those pixelated arena battle games.
I don't think so.
From what I saw,
I think King of Cards is the campaign that's the King Knight, right? Isn't King Knight the fourth one? And the multiplayer game is like part of that, but I don't know if the multiplayer is called that. Maybe I'm wrong, but
let me check here. I mean, maybe you're right. So I guess this completes. They have to release the stuff for people. So they have one more campaign. They've got one more. So it looks like it is the campaign.
Yeah, Showdown. Sorry, Showdown is the name of the multiplayer I'm looking at right now. So King of Cards is the fourth campaign, and Shovel Knight Showdown is the multiplayer.
I see. Okay.
So those are the final 2 things they promised.
So I really have only played such a small fraction of
you played
Shovel Knight.
1/4 of the game. And in my opinion, Shovel Knight
And
is
the
the
worst
classic,
quarter, too.
but it's just like it's not bad. It's just that they made it so much better as they went through. They said, okay, how can we make this better?
Yeah. Okay. So the other thing that didn't show up during the Nindies Direct was Travis Strikes Again from Suda51.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now gotten a release date of January 13th, and they showed some more gameplay videos of it. Still looks good to me. I'm still pretty excited for it.
Yep.
I like that it's like it's a indie game that it's like not 2D, it's 3D models, and you can play co-op. It's kind of like a sword fighter brawler.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool because Travis in the game like wears t-shirts that show other popular indie games. Like he's like a Dead Cell shirt and a Hyperlight shirt, and it's definitely a love letter to indie games.
Yeah.
But I'm still holding off on the price. It does not look like it's worth more than like $20-$30 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
but we'll see. It's definitely it's a Switch exclusive, and it's definitely on my radar. I thought that this was this. I learned recently. I thought Travis Strikes Again was a game that was coming out as No More Heroes 3 was in development. But what I've
Yeah.
learned is that No More Heroes 3 is not in development, and Travis Strikes Again is being made to try to build excitement for a potential No More Heroes 3.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so if a No More Heroes 3 is in development, it's A, not announced and not talked about yet, or as we've been led to believe when they had first announced Travis Strikes Again, is that it's not in development, and they need this game to try to build awareness and excitement towards a No More Heroes 3.
Oh.
So No More Heroes 3 is not something that's going to come out next year or the year after. Like, it's now far away,
Yeah.
unless we're going to be completely surprised.
I did not know that.
And to me, it's kind of ridiculous that people are asking for this in Smash Bros. It's like, are you serious? Like, they can't even get enough funding to develop the game. And
Yeah, well, neither could Bayonetta.
true, but at least Bayonetta came off of being like a million seller with like a 990 on Metacritic
Yeah.
by Platinum, not by Suda51.
Yeah.
Who I guess kind of used to work for Clover, which now kind of became Platinum. So in a way, he's connected to Platinum. But I think that Suda51 and Grasshopper Studios is hugely overrated. I wasn't really big on No More Heroes 1 or 2.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't care for Killer 7, which was also from Suda51 back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Lollipop Chainsaw looks like a good game. To be honest, I think that he's all style and no substance.
Yeah.
And I think people dig that style a lot, and they dig that he's kind of a crazy designer. And I mean, I'm looking forward to Travis Strikes Again because it looks like a fun, weird two-player game. But I'm always on the fence with this developer.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't fund No More Heroes 3. If I did, I'd have Retro Studios do it,
Yeah.
like they would. Anyways, Travis Strikes Again, January 13th. It's nice to know a few of these exclusives are coming to Switch next year.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have a game called Chasm. Have you heard about Chasm?
No.
Now,
Are you sure it's not pronounced chasm?
I don't know. Chasm.
Okay.
Is it Chasm?
I think it's chasm.
Did I say Chasm? Okay, it's Chasm. Whatever. Anyways, I implore you to look up a trailer of this right now while I talk about it, because I think it looks amazing.
I'm looking up right now. You keep talking.
It's got kind of like an SNES 16-bit style. It's a Metroidvania, but it's set in a medieval theme, and it's kind of got like a Pitfall feeling of it, like exploring jungly areas, but it's all medieval castle themed, and just the animation looks really fluid and really good, and the controls look really good, and it's something that I'm really surprised didn't get shown at this Nindies Direct, yet it was still announced for Switch. I don't know. What do you think? I think it looks great.
This looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks really good. It really caught my attention. So, to our listeners, check out this game, Chasm, Chasm, for Switch.
Is this out? When does this come out? I'm super interested.
Yeah, I know. It looks great. I don't know when it comes out. They didn't.
So
They just
it's already out on the PC, PlayStation 4.
Okay. So, this is a game that high on my list. I mean, it's probably Untitled Goose Game and then Chasm. Chasm. Next, they have another game that was recently announced called Gato Roboto.
Okay.
Coming 2019, Switch and PC only, and it's another Metroidvania, but you are a cat.
In a robot suit.
And you can get into a mech suit if you want, but you get in and out of the mech suit. You know, it's not like you upgrade to a mech and you like get in the mech, fly it around, shoot enemies, and then you get to an area where only the cat can fit, so you have to crawl out of the mech suit.
What's cool is this game is completely black and white.
The game's completely black and white, but it's got that really slick animation. Like, it's really fast, slick animation, so
Yeah.
it looks like it feels really fun to play. And I gotta say, the music in the trailer is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it's black and white, it's definitely on my list. It's got the same visual style as that game Minute. Do you remember Minute? It's out on Switch now, and it's
no.
basically you have 1 minute, and then the game resets.
What?
Yeah, so it's like you'll run straight downwards, you'll get a key, and then you reset, but you still have the key. So it's like you can complete the game, but it's a minute at a time. So you're basically one of these little minute adventures. And the game's designed so that anything you can do would only take a minute. But it'll be like you'll yeah, it looks really cool. But it's the same, Gato Robotos has the same visual style. And lastly, but definitely not least, most important to me, and I know you've been excited for Wargroove. It's and to our listeners out there who don't know, you should know because Wargroove is awesome looking, and it's been shown since the original Switch revealing.
Yep.
It looks like a spiritual sequel to Advance Wars.
It looks like a mix of Fire Emblem and Advance Wars. It's like medieval Advance Wars, which
Yeah.
looks awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't have like the tanks, I don't think.
No, but it has like cavalry, and then it has catapults and trebuchets and all that kind of stuff. Knights of different weapons, archers.
It's almost like as if it's like Fire Emblems meets Advance Wars.
Isn't that what I just said?
Yes, but you know what I just thought would be cool?
What?
Now imagine you had Advance Wars in Fire Emblem style.
That would be cool.
Yeah, they could
Wait.
totally cross styles.
Wait. What do you mean? You mean like actual specific individual characters, but in like a futuristic war setting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Never mind. Scratch that.
I was like,
I'll take.
I didn't even understand what you're trying.
I'm gonna take this part out of the podcast. I'm just kidding. Bad idea. Bad ideas. Worth saying, not worth doing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, someone tweeted the Wargroove developer and was basically like, "Where is your game? Like, you announced it so long ago. It's been almost 2 years now. We haven't even seen it." And he tweeted a really interesting response. So the Wargroove developer said, "For everyone following Wargroove, it's coming along at a really good pace. The reason it's been taking longer than expected is because we decided we wanted a very complete and robust package, as well as wanting to perfect everything that was there. Thanks for being patient, smiley face." Then he had another tweet right after that said, "As a result, Wargroove will contain," and get ready for this, put on your seatbelts, listeners, because get ready. Wargroove will contain a many hours long campaign, arcade mode exploring each character, a challenge mode, local and online multiplayer, synchronous or asynchronous, level and campaign editor, wow, cutscene editor, wow, a
That's
jukebox, codex, gallery, voice acting, secret unlockables, and more. Now, the one thing I gotta ask here is, what could more possibly be?
Honestly, the only thing I can think of is that they threw in like secret
Like costumes?
I was gonna say a special campaign where it was Link.
Yeah, or that more is like, yeah, you can watch the credits from the menu. Because you literally told me everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see them putting in something with Nintendo related.
But here's the thing: would that not fall? It literally says here secret unlockables, and then below more. So does that not fall under secret unlockables?
Well, maybe it's not unlockable. Maybe it's just like part of the game.
This list of things is insane. Like,
Yeah,
not that I
agree.
even care about level editors or cutscene editors. I don't. But that's really cool to have in, and
I think asynchronous play is really awesome too.
I think that's really cool too. What does that really mean exactly?
That means so synchronized online play means you and I are online together playing. Asynchronous means like I do my turn and then you go and do your turn whenever you're online, and then I go online and it'll update your turn and it's my turn. You know,
That's
some people,
what asynchronous
some people,
means?
you know, some people play like so it means we're not playing at the same time.
Oh,
At
it's
least-
like you can like be like, hey man, make your move.
Yeah, like you know how some people play Scrabble on their phones. It's like I do my
Yeah.
turn and like 6 hours later you do your turn.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Or like
So-
Words with Friends.
Or like chess, yeah. So it's kind of like it's gonna be a slower game, but we both don't have to like dedicate time to each other. We can like play a round over a week.
So this tweet to me is basically saying that this game is an absolute day one for me,
Yeah,
and now it's probably my most wanted indie game, other than Untitled Goose Story. Goose Game. It's definitely my number 2 wanted indie game,
yeah,
and I just can't wait to see it again. And I have a feeling it will probably be a little higher priced, maybe $30, even 40 maybe. But I think it'll sell really well, and I think it will hopefully come out soon. Like, I hope it comes out in the next 6 months.
yeah.
I think I can see this coming out like first half of 2019.
That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking I would say like I don't know, February to April.
Yeah, or even May or June.
Yeah,
But I think it's going to come out and be a big hitter. They've been too quiet about it for too long, and to be honest, it looked really good when they first showed it off. So they've now had over a year to work on it even more. So yeah, like any overall thoughts about in the Nindies or Indies coming to Switch?
Um, it's funny because at the beginning of this podcast we talked about how we weren't that excited for the game shown,
Yeah,
but
I know.
I've been
Yeah,
making
we've
a
talked
list of
about
games
that.
that are exciting to me that I've never played, and I have Chasm, Bastion, Wargroove, Transistor. I kind of want to try again. The Messenger, the Untitled Goose Game, of course, Hyperlight Drifter, Undertale. So it's like, to me, like I don't need that many indie games in there. I have 8 really great ones right there.
Yeah,
So
it's what's happening. Like, I don't understand it because I feel like I'm living in a whole new world where every time I open my eyes and wake up, there's like a dozen amazing indie games
yeah,
that have come out of nowhere that I am like, who is making all these games and who is buying all these games? Like, there's so many.
I think people are just, the more that the video game industry grows, the more people that are passionate say, "Hey, I have 2 buddies. Let's try to make a game." And then they make a game like Hollow Knight, or make a game like Celeste, or make a game like Untitled Goose Game, and it's like, whoa, this is gonna, like, we could actually have like a job.
Well, you got to
You know?
think though, for every single game that does come out on Switch or
There's
Steam
50
and gets
pieces
popular,
of garbage.
there's a lot of pieces of garbage, and not only 50 pieces of garbage, but how about the 500 games that got started and not finished?
True.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes making these things is just about getting to the finish line. And it's the same with film, right? It's like how many movies get started and not finished. Like just finishing a movie or a game is kind of a miracle in itself that it came together, that it's played, that you can experience it from beginning to end. But it just seems like there's just way too many of these great games, and I think it's more a testament to game development tools. You know what I mean? Like the games that five people can develop now would have required a lot more people back on the Super Nintendo.
Totally.
So it's just amazing that a game like Hollow Knight can be made by so few people.
Yeah.
But it's a great time to be a gamer, and to be honest, I never ever thought that I would be someone who leaned more towards indie games. And I gotta say,
Me too.
it's something that starting with the Wii U and wanting, when I played Wii U, I mostly played indie games on the gamepad, and now with Switch, I mostly play them on portably. I'll play my indie games portably. So I definitely think there's something to be said about handheld and indie games coming together. And I think it's a unique thing because I don't know if anyone ever expected that indie games would blow up just by being portable.
Yeah.
I think, I feel like gamers sort of got that indication with the Vita, because I remember a lot of people talking about how great the Vita was because of the indie game lineup. But I think Nintendo kind of got in there and really is now capitalizing on it. And where Sony is like the champion of the third-party game, it seems like right now, like Nintendo is the champion of the indie game.
Totally agree. For me, it was a little bit different. Like I started with, like I don't think I had a single indie game on the Wii U or even the 3DS or anything like that. I started when I got the PS Plus because I didn't have a PS3. PS Plus gave me a bunch of free indie games, and then I said, okay, these are pretty good. But I agree with you. As soon as the Switch came out in portable, I was like, you know what? I want those 10-hour bite-sized games that don't drain my battery like crazy, that I don't have to invest hours to get into. Yep. And that's why I love the indie games on the Switch.
Yeah, I guess I'm feeling these days that when I'm thinking about, okay, I'm going to play a game, what game do I play? Which is something that often I think about every day.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like to play the retail games, like the bigger games, like even to play Splatoon, and like to wait through the load screen and wait for the menus.
You have to commit at least like 45 minutes.
Exactly, you're committing more time to it. Where an indie game, it's like they load faster. You're like you can get into a game of Dead Cells so quick, and I can stop it literally any time and put it on pause and stop playing. I can't really do the same for Splatoon. I can't really do the same for even Mario Odyssey or Zelda with the load times and like the investment in what you're doing. Like in even Breath of the Wild, like you can play it for a very short burst, but to really accomplish something, you kind of need to play for a little bit of time, like 6-7 hours. But no, I'm really happy with the indie scene right now, and I'm hoping that we don't reach a point of oversaturation on Switch, where they have so many indie games that
they're not making enough profit to be worthwhile to put on.
Yeah, they're not selling anymore, and it kind of just becomes like, and I actually think that time might come
I think it actually will definitely not come, in my opinion.
Well, just my feeling is that we're in this indie haven right now, but by mid to late next year, we're going to be getting like Nintendo's second wind of top tier games. Like we got their first kind of
Yeah,
slot of
but
games.
I just think indies are doing. I mean, like indies aren't just doing really good on the Switch. It's like they're like breaking the norm of what indie games do, and especially comparatively to any other. Like Steam was the indie platform. Every game that's coming out on Switch is killing the Steam by comparison. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yep. But
So
would you
it's like,
say that's also kind of just? I mean,
do I
this
think it's
year
relevant to the actual first party games coming out too?
I do.
I think it plays a role, but I also think the Switch is just grounding itself as the indie machine to play. And I think that's going to increase Switch sales. I think it's going to increase indie game sales. I think it's going to go up if down, not down.
True. I guess just my feeling is that if I had more retail games that I wanted to play on Switch, I probably would be less interested in all the indie games. Like I find indie games as like light snacks in between meals kind of thing.
Yeah, but to me, it's like I always like to have like 2 or 3 light snacks. That like when I bus a lot. I want those 2 or 3 light snacks because I don't always want to play a meal, you know.
On the bus.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? When I take the bus, I like a meal.
Oh, I'm the opposite.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I agree. I would just worry that if next year comes around and all of a sudden it's like, wow, in a 6-month period we've got Metroid Prime 4 and this game and this game and this game and this game and like there hasn't really been a point for the Switch yet where I've looked at their retail release calendar and said, wow, my wallet is hurting.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the indie lineup and I go, oh, great, fucking 100 indies that I want.
Yeah.
But I don't ever look at the release retail calendar and say, oh my God, there's just too many games. So I think if we do reach that point where I look at a lineup on Switch and say, wow, there's just too many retail games I need to have, then I probably will start shying away from the indies, just for simply time and cost savings. But I just wonder if that'll happen.
I don't think the first party will ever happen, even with third parties for Nintendo.
Oh, I definitely think it'll happen next year. I think we're gonna hit that moment where
there's gonna be so many games where you just like say, I need all these retail games.
Well, let's look at the Switch for a sec. When it was first announced, a lot of developers weren't on board, so it launched with like nothing, and it took a little while for even the first few third parties who were like early adopters of third parties, like Bethesda. It took them like 6 to 8 months to get their games running on Switch, and even then, Nintendo published Skyrim. Mm-hmm. So the first year of the Switch, like no one had anything in development for it. And I think the biggest sign is that Capcom just announced Onimusha Remastered and it's coming to Switch.
Oh, it's coming to Switch too?
Yeah, it is coming to Switch. $20 remaster and Doom Eternal's coming to Switch. And I would wager that the Wolfenstein DLC is coming to Switch. And now Saints Row 3 is coming to Switch. Like we are hearing about more third-party games, and I think we're going to start seeing a floodgate open, and you're going to see EA finally come out and say, Madden's coming, and then Call of Duty will come, and I really think so. I think that's all going to happen, and I think it's going to happen starting next year, because this year was kind of the start of that. Of some developers kind of getting their games out. Like by this fall, we're going to have Dragon Ball FighterZ. That certainly is only coming because of the success of Xenoverse. So next year, I think we're going to kind of fall into that zone where now not only are Nintendo's first parties going to start firing on their all cylinders because they basically released nothing this year, but they literally
Mario Tennis and
no, Camelot's not a first party. So literally, out of Nintendo first parties, all that was released was Octo Expansion and Kirby.
Huh.
Like Smash Bros is done from Namco. ND Cube is still a first party, but okay, I guess ND Cube that's doing Mario Party counts. But they really, where was Nintendo EAD this year? Where were these developers this year? So I think next year you're going to see a lot more from Nintendo. You're going to see a lot more from third parties, and I wonder if the indies will kind of take a back seat. But I don't think so. I think it'll happen for me personally, but I don't think it'll happen on a whole. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. Happy about indies and a lot to play. So
yeah, me too.
That kind of covers this Nindies Direct.
Yeah, the second Nindies Direct we've had.
Do you have any comments?
Thoughts? I think the indies so far have been great on the Switch. If you are a listener and you are are more into the retail games, you're kind of hesitant about getting indies. There's some great ones to start with, like we mentioned 1,000 times: Celeste, Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
The ones that are coming out or just came out: The Messenger, Dead Cells. The ones that have been out before: Hyperlight Drifter, Bastion. The ones that are coming: Wargroove. Yeah, Stardew Valley. There's some great ones. So if you haven't, dipped your foot in the water, I say jump right in, get a few of them, and let us know what you think in the comments about some of your favorite indie games.
Yeah, and I think the nice thing is that when you buy a retail game, you're spending $60+, but just once take that 60 and just buy 4 or 5 indie games. I almost guarantee you'll like at least one of them.
Yeah, like for me, I'm a pretty serious gamer, so I try to budget myself to maybe one retail game a month or every 2 months, and then if I don't have anything for 2 months, I'll say, oh, you know what, I have $60, I'll spend that on 2 or 3 indie games.
Yeah, though I will warn listeners, it can get dangerous. It's very easy to just impulse buy.
Seriously, Bad North is an example.
Yeah, or if you saw my 3DS, if I just turned my 3DS operating system on and show you how many games I have, a whole 32 gig card filled of games. I have like over 100 games on my 3DS. Between retail, Game Boy games, and indie games. I bought a ton of indie games on 3DS. So it's like I have a bad impulse to just be bored, say, oh, what am I going to do? What do I watch on Netflix? Well, why don't I just go in the eShop and I'll spend
see what's came out recently.
Yeah, what's come out recently? Oh, this game, I've been meaning to buy that. Oh, okay, well, why don't I just buy it right now? And I did that with Yoku's Island Express. And it's a fun game, but I haven't really gotten back into it. But it happens.
Well, I think your biggest problem is you don't beat a game before you buy a new one. I only buy a new game if I have nothing, like I've beaten my other games. It's like you haven't beaten like Hollow Knight, which is a great game. You haven't beaten Celeste, which is a great game. You haven't beaten Yoku's Island Express, which is a great game. Dead Cells, which is a great game. It's like you just keep buying games and not beating them.
Well, I'm in a point right now where my controller is broken.
I know.
But no, I know. I have a bad habit of
like to me, it's like I've beaten all those games, so I justify it in my head. It's like I don't have an indie game or a Switch game right now. So it's like, okay, maybe I will get Bastion. Maybe I will get The Messenger.
Sometimes with games, it's one of those things where like years later, I'll decide to dust off the Switch and play an old game, and I'll beat an indie game, let's say, that I was playing for the last 5 years, and it's kind of nice to
jump in the middle of a game that you haven't played in 5 years. Okay.
Yeah, depends on the game.
Yeah.
But anyways, for our listeners out there, thanks for being with us. Thanks for your comments and your support. Leave a comment. Please let us know what you think. Let us know what indie games you've been playing, what your favorite indie games are, and also what you're looking forward to and what you liked in the last Nindies Directs. Let us know. And yeah, join the conversation. If you want us to talk about something, or you have a comment or a question, please leave it, and we are happy to answer it in the next podcast. You can listen to our next podcast. We have a special coming out very soon. It's going to be on the 3 Marios, and we're going to talk about whether Mario Odyssey is overrated. So definitely tune in for that. That'll be an exciting chat. So I think that wraps us up, doesn't it, Derek?
I think so indeed.
Okay, well, this is the Nintendo Bros. Pete signing out.
And Derek, see you later.